Welcome back to the Homestead. Fall days like these always put me in the mood to fill our home with something warm and nourishing. On the Homestead, we try to use every part of what we raise and grow to stock our pantry shelves. Today I'm making a batch of beef bone broth and a little chicken broth for dinner while I'm at it. To start, I'm slow roasting these beef bones from our local farm we get all of our meat from that we don't raise ourselves. Roasting the bones for about an hour really brings out the flavor and gives the broth a deep, rich color. Bone broth at the stores has gotten so expensive, and honestly, it's one of the easiest things you can make at home. You don't have to raise your own animals. Most butchers or local farms will sell you the bones for just a few dollars a pound, and sometimes even give them away. A little time, a few scraps is all you really need. Since I already had the oven going, I figured I'd start a batch of chicken broth too. These are a few carcasses that I have saved from last week's dinner, and then a bag of vegetable scraps from my freezer, onion ends, carrot tops, celery leaves. I just toss them in a pot, nothing fancy, just a few simple ingredients and something really good comes from it. While the beef bones are finishing roasting in the oven, I am chopping up a few vegetables for the broth. Again, nothing complicated. It's just onions, garlic, carrots, and celery. They go inside this big roasting pan, and once the bones come out of the oven, I'll add them in and I'll fill it with water. From here, the broth does all the work. I keep my electric roasting pan on a low setting for it to simmer for about 24 hours. It fills the whole house with the most comforting smell, perfect for a chilly fall day. While the broth is cooking inside, I'm heading outside to take care of all the outdoor chores. The chickens always greet me as usual because they know I'm coming with snacks. And we're getting our pumpkins ready for pumpkin puree for Thanksgiving. It's a busy time of year, but these little rhythms make it feel so special. There's something about living within the season that brings a heart so much comfort, even when the world around us is full of chaos. The next morning, the broth is ready. After 24 hours of simmering, it has turned into this rich golden stock. I strain everything out, which is probably the most time-consuming of it all. It's one of the most satisfying kitchen moments, seeing all this goodness that you've created with just such simple ingredients that's going to be so nourishing for you and your family's body. And now we start the canning process. I can all of our broth, making it shelf stable. It's much easier than freezing, but you can do that as well. I like to have the shelf stable version of the broth because it is easy when we're just making dinner to grab it off the shelf and start cooking with it rather than waiting it for it to defrost. But if you are a little nervous to start canning or don't have a pressure canner yet, then freezing it is another option. I start with clean, sterilized jars and brand new lids. I ladle the hot broth into the jars, leaving about a 1-inch head space. And then I wipe the rims with a little vinegar to remove any grease or anything that may have dropped on there that would affect the seal of the lids. For canning, I'm using our Presto digital canner. It makes the whole process very simple. For bone broth, pints process for 75 minutes and quarts process for 90 minutes. Once the cycle finishes, I let the canner release naturally and cool off. Hearing the lids pop never gets old. I do really love this canner because it's really one of those canners that you can leave and walk away and do other things instead of having to babysit on your stove. Thank you for spending a little bit more time with me on the homestead and in the kitchen today. These simple projects always make our home feel extra cozy this time of year. If you love homemaking, canning, baking, slow living, or even thrifting, I'd love for you to subscribe and stick around. There's always something cozy we're doing around here. I'll see you in the next video.